Okay, am I on here? Trey Carstairs here, and well, I was just gonna talk. Do this, hold this camera without. Okay, that's how it's going to go. Okay, so I was gonna talk about my friend Rumpelstiltskin. What happens is when he gets really anxiety. In my earlier videos, I talked about how I get anxiety. Rumpelstiltskin's like me. He gets anxiety. And then what he does is he starts cleaning. You know, people like this, it's like they get high anxiety and they go grab the Windex and like as much paper towel as they've got and Kleenex and toilet paper and cloths and mops and buckets and they start cleaning. And some of these people will clean their apartment like twice a week because they've got high anxiety. It's nothing to do with cleaning. It has to do with it's like like it's like I don't know if you can see it, but I was like cleaning my screen of my other phone. I've got two phones, and I've also this one. I haven't cleaned this one yet, and I started doing this, and I thought I could do a video and I could show you what it's like. It's like high anxiety, and it's like you just start looking, and if things are dirty, then you go for those ones first. But if they're not dirty, like spotless floor, you still clean it. And I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of people that do this. It's like they've got spotless apartments and it's just high anxiety. That's how they deal with it. They just clean. They don't want to go outside and see people, and they don't have money to go shopping. In the old days, in my mother's generation, they would go on a shopping spree. That's how they dealt with high anxiety. They would go and gather up either their children or their their best friend, and they would go to the mall and shop. But now nobody can afford anything at the mall. And they have to go to the dollar store. And people still go to the dollar store. They really do. And but cleaning is what people do. And it's like some of those, well, I'm not going to go into how that some people do the cutting thing is actually horrible. But that's what people do. They do cleaning. And it's like I mean, I've seen animals, caged animals in certain zoos. A lot of these zoos have been closed down now, which is a good thing. But in the old days, they had animals in like metal cage, barred cages, and the animals had nowhere to go, and they just walk from one corner of the cage to another for like some of them lived for like 25, 30 years. And it was absolutely horrible. And I saw a bear in an outdoor cage, more than one different place. It was horrible. And that's what they do is they would just pace. They would just pace. And I think, oh my God, this is the most horrible thing that you could do to an animal is lock it up in a cage like this. And, that's what we do with people. We give them little tiny, roach infested apartments, and that's what we think is good enough for human beings. And then we charge them outrageous rents. I was talking about on Zero Hedge, that website with Tyler Durden. They talk about how many places in the United States are completely unaffordable, and I think the rest of the world is the same way. It's just the corporate greed and profiteering has got so bad that nobody can afford to live on this planet anymore. And so what they do is they get really nervous and they can't sleep at nighttime. They get, people are walking around and they're putting all kinds of makeup on underneath their eyes, hemorrhoid cream to stop all the bags under their eyes. It's because they're super tired because they can't sleep at night and they have to go and work double shifts at some minimum wage job. And then last week it was announced that Walmart was going to get rid of the greeters, and a lot of disabled people are greeters and they're going to lose their jobs. And no one say that it's like the Walton family that owns Walmart has got $162 billion, and they're so mean they're going to go and fire all these people that were the greeters. I mean, it's unbelievable. The filthy rich are the most evil people. It's the most disgusting thing. I don't know what you would do with people this evil. They're so evil. Gitmo's not big enough for the number of these people to lock them all up. It's horrible. It's just horrible. And all these stories about corruption in Canada now. Justin Trudeau, who was like the poster boy of like, nice people, And now it turns out he's really dirty. He's filthy dirty. He's as dirty as the previous prime minister. They're all in bed with this company that's out of Quebec, French Quebec, called SNC-Lavalin. SNC-Lavalin was making deals with Muammar Gaddafi's son. They brought Muammar Gaddafi through the United States. The United States was somehow party to this. And then they brought him into Canada and they brought him to Montreal, Quebec. And they got him hookers and blow. Muammar Gaddafi's son. And they paid for private security. And then they bribed him. It was, I think it was millions and millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars. Muammar Gaddafi's son. That's what our government allows. It's so corrupt, it's unbelievable. Muammar Gaddafi, that was the guy that blew up that airliner over Lockerbie, Scotland. He was unbelievable, unbelievable dictator. And now the Canadian government and this SNC-Lavalin, they entertain dictators. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I tell you, it's so rotten. The average person on the street was just going to want to barf and start cleaning their apartments because they just don't know what to do. No one knows what to do. Justin Trudeau, he's like, I mean, everyone is totally disgusted. Everyone is totally disgusted. No one knows what to do. And no one wants to vote for the previous conservative government because they were just as dirty. I mean, it's just, there was this guy that was the head of the CSIS, Canadian Security Intelligence Services, like the NSA in the United States. And this guy, Arthur Porter, he was involved with SNC-Lavalin in the previous scandal out of Quebec. Arthur Porter was the overseer of CSIS. They're basically the biggest spy agency in Canada. So here you've got Mr. Corruption himself, who's running all the government spyware in Canada, which is tied in with the United States, Australia, New Zealand, and Great Britain, the Five Eyes. And, our Five Eye out of Canada was Mr. Corrupt. He went to Panama and faked his death. Now he's living somewhere no one knows, but he faked his death. And the official news media in Canada says he's dead, but I don't believe he's dead. He got away with uncounted amounts of millions. And then when he was the chief of government spying, who knows he was giving all this Five Eyes information to? Could have been Illuminati, could have been the mafia, could have been Russia, China, highest bidder. No one knows what he was up to, but he was appointed by the conservative prime minister, Stephen Harper. So you've got the conservatives that are dirty, you've got the liberals under Trudeau that are dirty. We've got the Socialist Party of Canada, but everyone's afraid to vote socialist because we had socialists in some of our provinces, or which are like the states in the states, and they were total disasters when you had the socialists in power. So basically, there's nothing that you can do except clean your apartments and go to the dollar store on a shopping spree. And I don't know. I was going to talk about. I think somebody else was talking about the price of beer. Everyone knows that I drink because of my nerves. And I can't clean all the time. But the cheapest beer in Canada, in province where I live in, is $40 for 24. And I was looking at Wisconsin, and it was only like $11 for 24. So it's way more expensive. Everything is more expensive here. It's the most horrible situation because there's nowhere you can move to because the whole world is just as bad as it is here. So I'm gonna go and clean my phone again, and I think I'm gonna use just some water and I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, cleaning supplies are expensive, so I mean you can use like vinegar and water in a bucket, and if you use cloths, then because paper towel's expensive. Some of my friends are very worried about like people that I know on the internet. They're very, very concerned about FEMA camps in the States, but people putting them into FEMA camps, and then they're going to go and reserve the rest of the world for the elite to go on their safari hunting. We saw that dentist, that American dentist that went to Africa, and he was shooting elephants and lions and things. That's what these people want to do. They want to have a private playground where they go on safari. The rest of us will be locked up at FEMA camps, and then they're going to have Hunger Games with us. They're gonna start. They're gonna give us Soylent Green, like that movie with Charlton Heston. It's just gonna be ground up people meat that they're gonna feed all the rest of the people. And I don't know who's gonna stand up to all these things. It's absolutely horrible. The extraterrestrials. I've been following this, like Corey Good and David Wilcock, and they say the extraterrestrials are coming. I've heard of this project Bluebeam, where they're going to use hologram projectors to project these spaceships up into the sky. So what am I like to believe, right? There, no one believes anything anymore. They just like to clean their little apartments, and you know, it's very sad. It's very sad. I'm trying to think of something uplifting to tell you. Oh, lifesavers, lifesavers. If you eat lifesavers, it's supposed to help with bad karma. So just eat lifesavers, popcorn, M&Ms, and blueberries. The rest of it is kooky. You can look up Dr. Hugh Land and Ho'oponopono from Hawaii. Oh, hello. It's Loki. Yes, Loki, I'm going to block you too because you're insane in the membrane. I think you need to see somebody other than me because I can't help you. How did you find me? I gotta go because I got Loki. You know Loki? He was like the friend, he's like the brother of Thor, the insane one. Yeah, well, Loki's on here. So I gotta go. Uh, Loki, did you get a new job at Marvel Comics? Loki. Hey, Loki. Yeah, Loki. You gotta get, you gotta front me some of that cash, Loki. Marvel Comics and all those kickbacks you get in those comics. No one understands.